Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another bonus video. Bonus because I wasn't meant to film it and I thought about it on the playground during my duty at lunchtime. So here we are. My skin's a mess at the moment for I don't know why. My eczema's just flaring up left, right and centre. My hair looks like, well, I just got back from work, which I did, and it's probably going to go dark. It's a great start. Basically, I've got about 15 minutes before my tea gets burned and it goes dark to tell you my 6 tips for essentially working in your room and your room alone. Now, I did this a lot at uni just because it was my preference a lot of the time to work in my room, and we had so much work that I mean it had to be efficient, so I got pretty good at it. So I just thought, with all of the coronavirus stuff and the panicking and the self-isolation, and we don't know how long this is going to go on for, I haven't seen one of these videos up and I just thought I could help and get it up as soon as possible. So yeah, here goes. Okay, first tip might seem pretty obvious, but that is to get up early, and you're also probably thinking, I don't like mornings, I hate mornings, and I'm with you, I agree. However, we all work better in the morning, and you might think, oh no, I'm an evening worker, but 99% your brain will work better in the morning. Whether you've realised that yet or not, getting up early sets your schedule, it gives you a bit of, you know, consistency when you keep doing it, and it's refreshing once you've got over the initial like ugh, you know, it's a good thing to do. Now, I don't mean getting up at 5 AM, I mean kind of setting your alarm for 7 o'clock, being up for 7:30, maintaining that bit of kind of school-like structure that you're used to. And if you get rid of that structure, that's when you fall down, and that's when you stop being productive and you start procrastinating and it all goes out the window. Now, I am not a morning person, so how I've done this is I did this definitely throughout third year because it helped me with my revision of my dissertation, but I set an alarm on my phone, as most people do, and plug in my phone on the other side of the room. Now obviously you need a plug to do this, or I mean if it's charged already then that's fine, but I put my phone on the other side of the room so that when it goes off in the morning I physically have to get out of bed in order to turn it off, otherwise I'll do it in my sleep. And I don't think I'm alone in saying that. If you've got out of bed to turn your alarm off, then you're up, aren't you? You're ready, and you just resist the temptation to get back in. Something that I have done is set 2 alarms, so I set one alarm half an hour before when I'm really wanting to get out of bed, so that it feels almost like I've got an extra night's sleep in that half an hour, because it's mad how much nicer you sleep when it's like half an hour until you have to get up, if that makes sense. Tip number 2 is, once you have got up, is to set a list of goals. Have a to-do list. I always have them on my whiteboard. I have them on my whiteboard right now, a weekly to-do list, but if you are stuck in your room at home, I would probably recommend writing a daily one every morning. Maybe you'll have a big master timetable and goals list that you can change weekly, but having a daily one means you know exactly how to structure your day when you come to it. So you get up early, you have a good breakfast, you go straight to your whiteboard or your note paper or whatever you're doing it on, and you write down all the things you want to get done today. Now make it ambitious, but not too ambitious. It needs to be, you know, achievable. I would make it as detailed as possible, so don't just put biology, physics, you know, put things like what topic you're doing, and even say you're doing cells. If you've got the cell cycle, do an actual, say, cell cycle mind map or cell cycle cue cards. Or if you're doing physics, then put like a momentum cue cards, or like be as detailed as you can, and then you know you've physically done that thing and you've got a plan of what you're doing, you're set out, and it will be so satisfying when you've ticked it off and you realise that actually you finished the day and you can go chill now. Because I find when I'm working, it's very easy to just kind of not really get anywhere. Like, you're working all day, You're being productive, but you're not really getting anywhere because you didn't set a plan. So you don't really know what you've covered, you don't really know what you've still got to cover. And it's just very unstructured, and forcing yourself to write a list of goals is a very, very easy way of keeping to a structure. Tip number 3 is get a phone locking app. These apps are an absolute godsend. You can get them for your laptop as well. There is Forest and Flora. There might be more, but I've only used Forest because I got it in 2016, paid £1, and then I had the full version. I think it's £1.99 for the full version now of Forest, but when you've like revised enough, then you can plant real trees, which I found really nice because I was saving the planet as well as doing my work. But Flora is a free version. I don't know if you can plant real trees in that, but it's essentially the exact same concept, but it's for free, and I think that's on Android and iPhone, so you should be able to get it. Basically, the concept is you have your phone locked on this plant that's growing, and when your timer's up, so if you set it for 45 minutes, the plant will grow for 45 minutes, and then at the end of that 45 minutes, you have your little plant for your garden or your forest. But if you click off it and go scrolling, then it kills your plant. And that sounds ridiculous, but you get so competitive because you just want your garden to be really nice. And if you kill your tree, it stays as a dead tree in your forest. Like, this is my tree, okay? And that, when you're getting into it, that is the worst thing you can do because your friends can see your forests. So you can share them with your friends, you can even do a joint room. So if you and a friend decide that you want to do an hour's work on whatever, you can go into a joint room together, and if either of you quit that, your tree dies. So it's like you're relying on each other to focus as well, which is really good. If you don't have access to either of these apps, then don't panic. Just put your phone either on the other side of the room if you are quarantined into your bedroom, or put your phone downstairs, give it to a parent, give it to anyone who you trust to look after it whilst you are trying to focus, because phones are by far the worst thing for procrastinating, because once you start scrolling, then that's you gone for the next hour. Yeah, talking from experience there. On a very similar note, we have tip number 4, and that is to take your breaks. I personally would recommend working for about 45 minutes, then having a 15-minute break. But if you don't need that break, like if you are on a roll, then keep going. There's times when you actually get into something and you don't feel like you need one. If you don't need one, don't take it. Just have a longer one afterwards, for example, like to eat a meal or something. But in that 15 minutes, do not be scrolling, do not be watching videos. Nothing on a screen in those 15 minutes is going to help you, because your eyes get tired when you're looking at the screen, particularly if your work is also on a screen, like on a laptop. It is really, really counterproductive to then keep going on that screen, particularly scrolling and watching videos, because again, if you're scrolling, you'll be like, oh, 1 minute left, oh, we've gone past the minute, now I've got to do an extra 4 to get to the next 5, you know? What I would recommend doing in breaks is having a snack, going to the toilet, having a wander around. If you're a real keen bean, do a HIIT workout. There's loads of like 5-minute ones on the internet. Fitness Blender is one on YouTube that does loads of free 5-minute HIIT workouts, because then you're energized, and also exercise and memory work hand in hand. Think about it. You're going to be stuck in your room for God knows how long. You also need the exercise, so why not put it into your breaks, and then win-win. Please make sure you are also having regular meals. If you're ill, then that's different, but if you are well, regular meals are going to keep you well, hopefully. Have a breakfast, have a proper healthy breakfast, like porridge, something with banana, something that's actually going to fill you up so that you're concentrating as long as possible. For lunch, again, have something that is going to fill you up, something that's nutritious, got vegetables and protein and carbs. You know how to healthy eat, I would hope, and you just need to keep it up, because again, if you are stuck in your room, chances are you're going to be pretty sedentary for a while, and the best way to keep your body working properly if that is the case, is by eating right. Tip number 5 is to change positions. Now,
That's what she said.
it is best to have like a work corner where, like, I have a little desk in the corner of my room. That is my work corner. That is my separate space from home and rest and work. And it is really key to have that separation, especially if you're stuck at home. You need to know where work starts and home begins. Like, if you're working in bed, it might be comfy and warm, but you're gonna have a nap. Like, it's inevitable. It's also really bad for your back to work like sat in bed in that position for ages because of the way it is, and that's from experience. I have found that if you change positions, like if you're getting fidgety and you know that's normal, change where you are. So work at your desk for a bit and then sit on the floor by the radiator and work there for 15 minutes. Then come and work on your bed, but don't get in bed by any means. Just lie on top of it, otherwise you're going to sleep, and that is not what we're doing. We're working. We're getting that bread. Finally, tip number 6 is to record yourself. Now, you are going to hate your voice. If you're anything like me, who doesn't watch any of her videos back because, ugh, but you will be surprised how well your brain responds to changing up how you kind of take in and repeat information. You're probably very used to learning visually. Perhaps you've done some things where you've got visual and you know you're drawing, you're using muscle memory, but to then incorporate this sense right here as well, it switches it up, and you'd be surprised how well your brain responds to that because it's a change. The thing about recording your notes as well, you save them in your recordings folder on your phone or your laptop, then you can listen to those notes as a podcast. So if you've got time where you think I should still be working but you are really genuinely tired, or if you do end up getting ill, you can just listen to the notes you've recorded and it's still being productive, because even if you're not consciously taking it in, subconsciously you will retain some of that information. Now, I'm not saying that you should just listen to it. Now, you need to be actively listening to it. But I mean, if you are tired or if you're having a nap, if you're going to bed, listen to your notes as you're falling asleep. Like, I've had dreams where I've listened to music and I have dreamt about the songs. So using the same logic, perhaps you will dream about what you're learning and then you'll remember it that way. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that we have hit our 15-minute mark. I'm amazed at my conciseness. Is that a word? I'm gonna go and get my tea, and I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you're not ill and the people you know aren't ill, but if you do end up having to stay in your room for a while, I hope that this has helped you with like some studying that was probably stressing you out. So yeah, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!